Hello class. Sorry to be doing this thing so early, but I'm going to be in the field until Thursday night in Miami, and I need to get this this thing turned in and done. So here we go. For my midterm, I chose to discuss a major environmental conflict going on in the United States today, which is over the Dakota Access Pipeline that would connect production fields in North Dakota to refineries in Illinois. As some of you I'm sure have seen, over the past few months, hundreds of Native Americans have gathered near the crossing of the Missouri and Cannonball Rivers, which are ancestral territories of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Until recently, they have been using nonviolent means as their goal to stop the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline. But just to kind of interrupt this, to catch people up with the story, here's where we're at now. September 9th of this past year, a federal judge denied the tribe's request to stop construction of the pipeline, or to not complete the pipeline. The pipeline's construction had already destroyed the tribe's sacred burial grounds, and they wanted to stop construction. Most of you have probably seen through either social media, the internet, news, whatever, the natives have been being pepper sprayed, attacked by dogs, denied food, threatened by lawsuits. A lot of you have seen the clash of you got the police and all sorts of tactical gear on this side, and you got the natives on this side, and just button heads trying to rush through, really just causing a whole entire scene. But the overall point of this, or the overall concern of the natives, is the leaking of the oil, or the possibility of oil leaking into their sacred waters. This is their land, this is their territory, and they have ground to stand on. And really, both sides have a stance here. The pipeline is really pushing for energy independence, which has been a goal of the United States for 10 years, 10 years plus, decades even. Brings in thousands of jobs, brings in money, more efficiency. So they have ground to stand on. They want to get this thing done. And then you have the native side, where it's really going to threaten their quality of life. And again, just the risk of, their land being destroyed. This is why I chose mediation as the environmental dispute resolution that I'll use. To me, this makes more sense, or even the most sense, for something of this magnitude. By being a neutral party and having an unbiased opinion, I'll be able to bring both sides of the story to the table so progress can be made. One of the biggest problems with conflicts of this magnitude is that there's so much prior history, beliefs, values, cultural differences that it almost seems impossible to work from an impasse. What mediation allows is mediators to help people think through their choices and apply enough appropriate pressure to the matter at hand. I firmly believe that there is a miscommunication in the foundation of all of this, and that when the judge denied the stoppage of constructions, the natives had to take matters into their own hands. And this is kind of really why I chose this topic, because right now, America, we're kind of in a bunch of movements. You have the Black Lives Matter movement. You've had, Bernie Sanders movement, the presidential election going on, Trump's movement. And this has kind of been overlooked a little bit, and I feel like it's important, and it should be brought to the attention of, the rest of the class. So that's really why I chose it, and it's a good topic, and I think the U.S. has good history with environmental law and, working with Native Americans. So I think that this was a great topic for me. But when you look at the wheel of conflict and go over the definitions, there's a distinct fit in every category of this wheel. History is actually the first one I'd like to mention. In the U.S., we like to use the term colonialism. Colonialism is basically the foundation of our country. It's, we came over here, we built it, and here we are today. Natives don't really think of colonialism the same way we do, and without going off into a tangent, it's kind of easy to understand the differences of the way we view America and they view America. So there's already a history there. And then there's already a history with the installation of this pipeline, with the ancient burial grounds being destroyed. So, to me, there's already a pretty big history, but I do think that the point is to take this history, remember it, but also remember that this doesn't mean that there's no option for conflict resolution. You can't overlook the history and just be like, nope, impasse. You got to work with it. So, that's the history side. And then the next is values. And what I'm going to call it in this case, beliefs. It is well known how much the natives appreciate the natural world. In most cases, it isn't even comparable for the average to the average person's views of the natural world. When you mix values and beliefs and refuse to acknowledge them, conflict ensues. This is going to be a hard sector to move past because the values are so different. Emotions. Emotions alone are to the point where something different must be done. You know, right now there's pepper spraying, dog attacks, and then there's this disillusion of native territories to the, and it's just really putting all emotions to a complete extreme. This can be an advantageous avenue to pursue, though, because this can finally be a ventilation chamber where people of both sides are heard, and, you know, from the people that need to be heard by the people who need to speak. So this actually might be advantageous during this mediation. And then structure. This is one of the things that I felt might have been a little overlooked. Having the structure being at court in the beginning, and then the verdict is basically the outcome, is a terrible structure for this type of scenario. Basically, you have more people telling the natives what they can and cannot do, and which basically reinforces the same viewpoints they've had of, you know, Americans for the hundreds of years. So this structure really needs to change, and the natives are 100% absolutely supposed to be involved in every single step of this pipeline. So that's why I really think the structure is a big key here that has been overlooked. And then communication. You know, this is key. This mediation process requires communication to be heard and understood from both parties, which right now is not the case. A normal person would look at this and simply try to get both sides of the argument and try to work something out. And right now, basically both people are speaking and neither are hearing. And the main difference is that the pipeline's continuing to get what they want, and the natives aren't getting what they want. So they're basically being told what to do again. Overall, what all of this does show, though, is that how the general contextual factor of culture is going across every category of the wheel of conflict, and in this instance, where culture is embedded in this conflict. So I really am excited to do this project, and I think there's a lot that has been taught and that can be portrayed into this mediation, and I look forward to doing this. Best of luck to all.